Hi, my name is Nazokat Makhmudova, and I'm a rising junior at the American Community School in Beirut, Lebanon. My presentation is about entrepreneurship in the Middle Eastern and North African region. Before I begin, I'd like to give the AFIKRA presenter's promise, which is that I'm not an expert on the topic, but I've done my best to do my accurate research. And if you see any mistakes, please feel free to correct me, ask questions and contribute, but do so nicely. And I'm not trying to persuade you of any agenda. I just hope to cultivate your curiosity on the topic. My presentation is split up into 3 parts. The first is defining entrepreneurship as a whole and defining some segments of an entrepreneurial sector. The next is looking at some successful case studies of entrepreneurship in the region. And the third is outlining some steps to make the Arab world's entrepreneurs more competitive globally. The reason I'm interested in this topic is because I've witnessed a lot of businesses failing in Lebanon due to the crisis, as well as a lack of entrepreneurship in MENA compared to other nations I've lived in. Also, during quarantine, I noticed a social media boom celebrating startups and young entrepreneurs. This is a picture of me with the CEO of BDD, which is the Beirut Digital District, an entrepreneurial hub in MENA. So the big picture question I'm exploring is, what is entrepreneurship in MENA? First, let me define entrepreneurship. According to the Oxford Dictionary, entrepreneurship is defined as the activity of setting up a business or businesses taking on financial risks in the hope of profit. So essentially, that's risk for profit. And profit is an umbrella term. It could be monetary, financial, environmental, social, or political profit. And it's worth noting that often more than just financial risks are taken. Popular entrepreneurial sectors include computer systems and software, internet and data services, accounting services, home healthcare, business consulting, and more. Over the past decade or two, entrepreneurship has expanded to include so much more than just these 5 listed sectors. The business psychology in MENA is very specific to the region. It includes privatization, which is when public sectors, which are governmentally managed, such as electricity or water, are sold to private investors. And while this can be a great thing to leverage the economy when done correctly, in the MENA region, it's often a response to crisis situations and often mismanaged. The next is monopolization. Historically, a lot of the big businesses are owned exclusively by family groups. And what this does is it reduces fair competition, discouraging young entrepreneurs and beginners from pursuing their ideas because they're competing with huge conglomerates. The dependency on natural resources in MENA, most prominently oil, has reduced the need for entrepreneurship historically because there was already a natural resource supplementing the economy. And finally, minimal digital banking. The e-commerce and digital banking sectors in the MENA region are largely underdeveloped compared to other nations globally. And this poses as a direct obstacle. However, countries are starting to notice this factor more and more, and it's increasing throughout the region. The World Bank MENA Economic Update estimated that the MENA region's economies would grow by 5.2% in 2022. So let's take a look at some successful case studies of entrepreneurship in the region. I'll start by listing some popular startups. You might have heard of some of them. The first is Anghami, which is a music streaming platform similar to Spotify or Apple Music, and it was founded in Lebanon. Next, Swivel, a taxi/transportation service such as Uber, founded in Egypt. Kitopi, a cloud-based delivery service partnering with restaurants across several countries, which was founded in the UAE. And Pure Harvest Smart Farms, also founded in the UAE. They use sustainable agriculture to produce fresh goods. The UAE is often credited as being one of the most conducive environments for entrepreneurship, not just in the region, but globally. And this is due to several factors. The first of which is their complete lack of income tax, which will change in 2023. So as a result of this complete lack of income tax, it attracted a lot of expats and entrepreneurs because they knew that they could make their profits there without worrying about paying taxes and a percentage of their profits. Secondly, the venture capital investments attracted in 2021 in the UAE was $1.17 billion. That's double what Saudi Arabia, their nearest competitor in the region, attracted. This goes to show that their startups and the entrepreneurs there in the UAE received a lot of funding compared to those outside. And thirdly, a strong political system. The clear, transparent economic policies of the UAE can even be found online on their website, which makes it extremely convenient for entrepreneurs to check that what they're doing is not violating any legislative policies. As a result of the aforementioned factors and others, the UAE's GDP, or gross domestic product, which is a metric used to measure economic growth, has steadily increased over the past years, with dips noted because of an oil crisis and COVID-19. Now, this is a quote from Eli Habib, the founder of Anghani, which was the first Arab tech company to be publicly listed on NASDAQ. He states that he doesn't believe that the current circumstances are helping them grow, citing specifically the banking crisis. This quote goes to show that there is still progress to be made in supporting entrepreneurs locally. So let's look at some steps that the Arab nations can make their entrepreneurs competitive globally. According to a report by the World Economic Forum, there are 4 main elements to focus on. The first is finding equity investors and financing for small and medium enterprises. The second is reinforcing an entrepreneurial culture and education. The third is providing a regulatory framework and political stability. And the fourth is having reliable and world-class infrastructure. The first factor is equity investors and financing. In the MENA region, there aren't a lot of venture capital firms or investment agencies which can give financing to entrepreneurs. So by creating specific financing hubs, it would ease the accessibility to funding, opening the door for so many entrepreneurs to pursue their ideas. A concern is financial transparency, but this is a concern that can be fixed by encouraging financial transparency through legislative reports and etc. A sign of progress in the region is, as mentioned before, the venture capital investments attracted to the region, which was $1.17 billion in the UAE in 2021. Second, reinforcing an entrepreneurial culture and education. It's a widely held belief that an entrepreneurial mindset is cultivated from the youth. However, unfortunately, entrepreneurship, the topic, is a taboo in the region. So fewer than 10% of the universities in the region offered entrepreneurial courses. On the flip side, if entrepreneurship is showcased as a path that students can pursue, more people will be open to the idea and open to pursuing their own startups and ideas. A sign of progress is that Saudi Arabia addressed this gap in education with the Innovative Industrial Collaboration Program. Thirdly, a regulatory framework and political stability. Clarifying business policies makes it more convenient for entrepreneurs to pursue their ideas. Achieving political stability makes access to resources easier, as well as an environment where people can do business. And finally, increasing governmental aid. There's a lot of risk involved with entrepreneurship, and that often hinders people from pursuing this path. However, knowing that they have the support of their government behind them can encourage more people to pursue it. A sign of progress is that there are 28 governmental initiatives empowering entrepreneurs in MENA, and this is not counting the others which were unfortunately unrecognized in this report. Finally, reliable and world-class infrastructure. Examples of infrastructure that is underdeveloped in the region is Wi-Fi connectivity, electrical grids, airports, and railways. To take a simple example, internet. The average speed in the MENA region is 2.73 megabits per second. Now, comparing that to the 8.69 megabit per second average of the world, that is extremely slow. And since everything is done digitally nowadays or online, the slow internet is a direct obstacle to people wishing to do business or e-commerce. Furthermore, railways are a concern because they're used to transport goods and other produce. A sign of progress, however, is that the Gulf Cooperation Council countries have steadily invested billions of dollars into railway production or infrastructure in general. Thank you so much. That was my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to read more on the topic, I recommend these pieces of literature, and you can contact me via my email or my LinkedIn. Thank you so much.